Turn off your lights. Make sure your doors and windows are locked. Things are about to get spooky. Bed 313 by dorimarcosta. Hi everyone from the channel, my name is Lewis. Well, I'd rather not reveal my full name. I've been a subscriber for a while, and today I decided to share a story that still gives me chills every time I think about it. I'm a registered nurse now and currently work at a private hospital that's part of a big network in my city. But back in 2014, I was just a nursing technician. I had just finished my vocational course, full of hope, resume in hand, walking all over town, dropping off paper whenever I could, clinics, private hospitals, tiny corner offices. When I got called for a temporary position at Santa Ifigenia Public Hospital, I almost cried. It was an emergency contract, nothing solid, but with a night shift bonus, it was enough to pay rent on the small room I shared with a friend, buy food, and hold out until something better came along. They started me on Monday in May. They put me on 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. shift, the dreaded overnight. I was what they called a support tech, the go-to guy for everything. I run from one floor to another with medications, adjusting oxygen levels, help transfer patients, change IV bags, check vitals. I didn't stop. The hospital was old, built with 70s concrete, but it was still standing thanks to a handful of professionals who worked miracles with what little they had. The first few nights were exhausting, but uneventful. Nights in a hospital are long. You start recognizing the sounds, the beeping of heart monitors, the echo of footsteps on cold tile floors, the muffled snores of patients in the hall. Sometimes the silence is so loud it feels like it's screaming. And like every old building, this hospital had its creepy spots, creaky doors, flickering lights, footsteps where no one was walking. You just learn to ignore it. Comes with the job. But since my first night, something bothered me. The annex. Behind the main hospital, separated by a covered walkway, was a smaller building. A 2-story annex that used to house the old men's ward, some observation beds, and the old pharmacy. All of that is now on the hospital's top floor. The annex had been shut down for about 2 years after a fire. No one went in there anymore. The gate was sealed with thick chains and 2 heavy padlocks. The sign, already faded by rain and time, read, "Annex, closed off." It was weird thinking that in a public hospital where space is always tight, a whole wing had been abandoned for so long. But even closed off, it never felt truly deactivated. At night, especially after 3 a.m., it was common to hear creaky noises from that side. The janitor said it was the concrete settling, but I passed by and hear something else. A bed being dragged, a nurse call bell going off, other sounds. One night as I walked in from another shift, I looked at the rusted iron doors of the annex and got this strange feeling something was behind it. It gave me chills. In the main ward, the system showed all the beds, occupied, free, being cleaned, etc. And that night, at exactly 3:13 a.m., a new admission popped up. Jos Ellis de Alamode, bed 313. But our hospital didn't have a bed 313. The last one was 309. I deleted the name, thought it was a system glitch, but the next night, same time, it came back. I took out my phone, snapped a photo of the screen, and went straight to the night supervisor. She looked at it and took a deep breath. Just let it go, Lewis. It's happened before. What do you mean? We've already filed a report with IT. They say it's an old bug, a database issue. Sometimes it pulls data from wings that don't exist anymore. Just an old echo in the system. Do you know who Jorge Aladonamare is? I asked. She looked at me. Took a while to answer. It's a public hospital, kid. What do you think? The third time it happened, the intercom rang. It was the front desk extension, but the screen said extension 313. I answered. Silence. Then labored breathing, like someone out of breath. I hung up immediately. Next shift, while sipping weak coffee in the cafeteria, old Mr. Silvio, the night security guard, started to talk to me. He got me staring at the hospital floor plan on the tiled wall. You're curious about the annex, huh? He asked, straight to the point. I nodded a bit sheepishly. He sighed. That place caught fire one night 2 years ago. Started on the top floor, the men's ward. They said it was electrical short in one of the rooms, but no one really believes that. 2 patients died, and the weird thing was the condition of the bodies. Silvio looked down, as if reliving the moment, then continued. I was here that night, one of the first on the scene when the alarm went off. The smell of smoke was intense. The fire had already taken most of the men's ward. The extinguishers weren't enough. Firefighters arrived quickly, managed to get almost everyone out. All but 2 patients. He paused, gripping his paper cup tightly. When the firefighters found the bodies, one of them was untouched. The bed was intact. No soot, no burns. Not even the sheets were scorched. But the smell, it was like burnt death, like the fire had happened inside him. I tried to laugh, call it an urban legend, but I choked when I heard the name of the dead, Horace Ellis de la Morda. Silvio squinted like he was watching the scene all over again. His cup trembled, spilling coffee all over the side. He didn't even notice. I saw him, he whispered, like afraid anyone else might hear. Not back then. Months later, maybe 5 months after the fire. I sat up straight, trying to act skeptical, but my skin was crawling. I was walking down the main hallway, coming back from X-ray. Another quiet night, just the hum of the AC. Then I saw someone walking slowly, his back to me, wearing a hospital gown, thinning hair, barefoot, looked lost. Silvio looked sideways, like watching the hallway again. I called out, "Sir, are you okay?" Nothing. He just kept walking. But the way he moved, it was weird, like his feet touched the floor but didn't really step, like he was gliding. You followed him? I asked. He nodded. When I turned the corner, he was gone, but the floor was stained, like someone had just come from a coal furnace. Footprints, and they ended in the middle of the hallway, just stopped. And that smell... He wrinkled his nose. The same as during that fire, smoke and burnt flesh. I stayed quiet, a bitter taste raising in my throat. Silvio set his cup down, like he had said what he needed to. One time, I saw it with my own eyes. It was a night like any other. The system beeped, bed 313 lit up on the screen, and I decided to go to the annex. I left my station, walking down the cold corridor. Outside, the sky was clear, no wind, but the hall to the annex felt freezing. The gate was ajar, the chain on the floor, no padlock. I pushed it open slowly. The building fully lit inside, like it was working. Fluorescent lights buzzing. The hallways were clean, like freshly mopped. The smell, that old hospital smell. The hospital annex elevator was working. The panel lit up. I went up to the top floor. The doors opened with a dry creak. In the middle of the hallway stood a hospital bed with a sheet over it. I walked towards it. My whole body shook with each step. On the ID tag, it read bed 313. The sheet moved, like someone was breathing underneath it. With a trembling hand, I pulled it off in one go. No one there, but the mattress was sunken, like someone had been lying there. Footprints on the floor led to the wall and vanished. I ran to the elevator. It wouldn't move. I was stuck there for almost 10 minutes. The bed stood between me and the stairs. I didn't dare cross. When I finally made it down, I went straight to the main ward, grabbed my stuff, turned in my badge, and quit right there, hands still shaking. The supervisor didn't even ask why. She just looked at me and nodded, like she already knew. In the following days, I tried to forget, told myself it was exhaustion, lack of sleep, the pressure of night shifts. But something kept bothering me, nagging in the back of my mind. What really happened in that hospital all those years ago? I did some digging on my own, looked through public archives, and found an old newspaper article. The fire at the hospital killed 2 men. One of them was Horace Ellis de la Mende. The other was Silvio de Costa. I just stared at the screen for a minute. Same face, even the badge was visible, pinned to the burned uniform in the photo. Same security outfit, same tired eyes. I had spent months talking to a ghost, a dead man, a lingering echo of what remained in the old wing of the hospital. I kept my eyes on the husband because the wife's eyes always fearfully darted to him before she answered any questions that involved her injuries. I did not expect to see the husband's eyes darting in the same manner towards the raggedy doll sitting on the fireplace mantel. The Cradle Witch by Different Pride 1245. In the 1940s, Nurse Evelyn ran the baby ward of a small hospital where she was known for her cold efficiency. Behind her polished exterior, however, she harbored a dark secret. Over the years, many infants had died under her care. More than 40. Though the exact number was never known. She selected the weakest, the most vulnerable children, and behind closed doors, they mysteriously perished. The mothers left heartbroken, but no one dared question the perfect nurse. That was until Charlotte arrived, a powerful woman, rich and influential. Charlotte gave birth at the hospital, and like the others, her child was placed under Evelyn's care. But this time, things went terribly wrong. The baby, once healthy, grew sick and died within days. Charlotte, devastated, knew there was something sinister at play. She was not a woman to accept silence. As she cradled her dead child, Charlotte whispered a curse, ancient and filled with agony of every mother who had lost a child to Evelyn's hands. You will feel every moment of suffering, every ounce of guilt, every tear shed for the children you have taken. All of it will be yours forever. The curse tore through the air, rendering the fabric of reality itself. A dark force surged through the tear, and in that instant, Evelyn was transformed. The pain, guilt, and agony of every life she had stolen flooded into her, both the mother's suffering and the spirits of the children, and twisted her into something unnatural. She became the Cradle Witch. Her body warped, her skin pale and taut, her eyes sunken deep into her skull. The cries of the dead echoed in her ears, their sorrow mangled with her own. She was consumed by the curse, yet she found a strange sense of purpose in it. She now hunted those who carried unbearable shame and guilt, those trapped in their own sorrow. She would end their suffering by claiming it for herself. And so the Cradle Witch roams, a creature of agony and vengeance, offering dark release to those who are drowning in their own remorse. In her arms, the lost find peace, but it is the peace that no one truly seeks. Wake up! I screamed at the sleeping forms of my wife and daughter, but my panicked cries fell on deaf ears. Standing next to my sobbing wife as we watched our home burn to the ground, I reached with a sad smile for the little hand of the small form manifesting between us, and prepared to guide my family to the light I've been ignoring for years. Rules for Picking Up a Hitchhiker on Route 37 by DoButterfly152. Hello. I've seen many terrible things happen to those good Samaritans who pick up hitchhikers on Route 37. I've decided to write these rules to ensure that the number of atrocities on the route at least decreases. 1. Generally, don't pick up hitchhikers on Route 37, or any route for that matter. You never know what they might do. If you feel like you really want to pick someone up for some ungodly reason, read the rest of these rules. 2. If someone is wearing an orange jumpsuit or black and white stripes, refrain from stopping. They're most likely an escaped convict from the prison nearby. 3. If someone is holding a sign saying blank city or bust, do not pick them up. The nearest major city is over 500 miles away. 4. If you see a very beautiful woman on the side of the road in a purple dress, she was the first victim of hitchhikers on this road. Proceed to drive forward. 5. If someone is running into the middle of the road covered in blood, waving you down, increase your speed and do not refrain from running them over if they jump in your way. It's either already too late for them, or it's not their blood that covers them. 6. The only person you should ever consider stopping for is Will. He's a local hitchhiker and likes to just sit in other people's cars and talk to them. 6A will be recognized by his off-brand Crocs, tattered denim jeans, a baggy brown turtleneck, and a gnarled baseball cap with a lighter patch where an emblem once sat. But it's now ripped off. He'll offer you a smile and a casual thumb to signal he wants to ride with you. 6B. It may be beneficial to pick up Will. As the other hitchhikers see him, they might back down and wait to purge the next car. 7. If you're driving down Route 37 at night and see a line of 20 people holding hands and blocking both lanes, immediately throw your car into reverse and drive until you're off Route 37. It's better than angering them. I think that's all the anomalies that have occurred on this road. If you encounter any others, please be sure to amend your list accordingly. Some anomalies only happen to certain people. Good luck. Back when I was a naive elementary school teacher whose biggest fear was school shooters, I felt confident that I would give my life to protect the kids. Now, as I usher my little survivors to safety, zombies feasting on the one I failed to save, I recognize the act of self-sacrifice is a privilege that I can't afford. They can't survive this world without me. And with that, our time together is coming to an end. As always, if you have a story you'd like me to narrate, whether true or fictional, send my way 3 different ways, either through my subreddit, emails, or website. All the links are down below for you guys. And of course, I like to thank the writers who let me read their stories this evening. We started with a story about a person who works at a hospital and unknowingly is seeing a ghost the whole time. I really loved this concept and I loved how it ended. Finding out the person that you were getting all the information was also the second patient, apparently. And then we go to a curse on a nurse who was taking poor babies' lives. And now she lives to take the suffering from others, whether you want her to or not. And lastly, how to survive hitchhiking on a certain road. Who you shouldn't pick up, which is basically everyone, and who you should pick up. I enjoyed each of these stories for different reasons, and I'm kind of upset with myself because I didn't realize until I was putting this video together that I had a whole hospital theme except for the rules horror at the end. My bad, I should have left rules horror from the last night video for this one. I kind of just put these together as I go, and sometimes I realize afterwards I made a mistake on themes. But of course, if you don't follow the rules on the highway, well, I guess you'll be following one of those people into the hospital. Thank you again to every single writer who let me read their stories. Now, if you enjoyed these stories, hit that like button and make sure it feels it. If you're new, please subscribe and turn that pretty little bell to all notifications. And of course, leave me a comment. Tell me what you thought, what kind of stories you'd like in the future, anything like that. If you're listening on the podcast and are able to, please leave a review, and of course, you can now leave comments if you're on certain platforms. If you'd like to help this podcast and channel grow, please just share it with anyone who might enjoy it. It helps quite a bit, guys. If you'd like to help in a more financial way, like these lovely people on screen right now, and get a few bonuses, well, I do have Patreon and memberships. But if you'd like to do more of a one-time thing, I do have PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, and Super Thanks. But as always, guys, thank you for watching and listening. It always has and always will mean the world to me. Sleep tight and don't let 42 bite.